de YouTube y voy a abrir una página de Facebook para checar que si todo funciona. Ok, eso nos está mandando aquí. Ok, estamos en vivo en Facebook. Hello, hello. Thank you for the ones that are joining. I'm just checking if we are also live in. Okay. We are live here. Let's see. Okay, this we need to change this. Edit live video. Just 1 second. That the title, it's an old one. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I'm just looking at the title in here. I'm gonna change here. Perfect. So we are gonna talk about ancestral healing. We're gonna talk today about initiations and rituals. It's a very interesting topic, so let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Perfect, safe post. Okay, we are live. Awesome. Woohoo. Can you hear me well, Freddy?
Oh yeah, perfect. Yes. Very, very clear, yeah.
Perfect. So I hope that people in Facebook, you are hearing as well. If you can send us a message and confirm us that it's clear, I would appreciate it a lot. So today we have a topic, a beautiful topic, and we are going to talk about ancestral healing. As you know, we have a course that is coming on the 30th of October that is going to be about the Inca spirituality and mysticism. And during this 8-week course that is going to be virtual, that Freddy is going to share with us all his knowledge, there is going to be initiations and rituals. And today we want to talk about those topics. So for the ones that don't know me, my name is Denise Osores, and I am a transformational coach. And today I am having this meeting and this live with Freddy. Freddy is, I don't know how to describe yourself. I don't know if I should call you a shaman. Freddy, how do you describe yourself usually?
Well, in reality, for many places, I would be a shaman. Yeah. In Peru, in the Cusco area, well, we are Pacos. Okay, Paco is the one who started the tradition of the Inca.
Yes.
A Paco, yes, exactly. A Paco is the person who started like germinating their spiritual seed, by the ceremonies that we follow on the Andean tradition. Well, we have a lot of ceremonies which we can talk about it. Okay, so yeah. And then depending in which level you are, then you gain different name. Like the person who just started, it's only a Paco, and then you come, through your work and through all your transformation, then you go into a different levels of consciousness. Like I have my master, my master is an Ayu Paco, who is, a high level priest, who I really recognize him as he is because the wisdom that he carries within himself and all this power that he, imprints, within the society. He's a master, he's a teacher, so it's like that. It's a lineage of priesthood in reality, yeah.
Okay, and this lineage, it's something that used to exist like from before?
Oh yeah. You know, the Andean spiritual tradition and mysticism, it's at least 10,000 years.
Wow.
Starting, you know, with the native ethnic groups started evolving in the Andean region, the coastal region, and the jungle region in South America. It's a conglomeration of a lot of wisdom through all this amount of years until it arriving to the golden era, which is the Inca kingdom, you know, where the Inca kings, the Inca leaders actually, you know, just gathered all this wisdom and then they blended and then they get a pastry of the pastry from the whole ethnic groups and tribes. It is why for us, Inca, say, is Inca, we say Inca, but it used to be Inca, okay? He represents to a sixth level of consciousness, all right? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Exactly. Yeah, that's correct. It's a sixth level of consciousness because the seventh is Taitanchi Serranti or the equivalent of our father or our cosmic father or equivalent of the absolute, or we can call God as well. See, he used to represent, the Inca used to represent, you know, the highest level of the Inca spiritual and mysticism tradition. And also he used to be a great politician. It is why the Inca kingdom achieved to, you know, we know the whole history of the Inca, you know, they were a great politicians, social organizers, they were philosophers, they achieved great knowledge in medicine, okay? They were, I mean, the wisdom in the Andes in some time in the past was so high, and all this because they kept, you know, all their, everything they achieved, they balanced with the spiritual and the mystical aspect. The Inca leaders were a great sample, you know, a great sample of a politician and a high-level priest all in one body. You know, this was the thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. And and before starting and going more in depth about the initiations that
Yeah.
happen in the Inca spirituality and mysticism and the rituals, I know we are not gonna go maybe on depth. That's gonna happen during the 8-week course, but at least I would love to for you to talk a little bit more. But before going to that, I want to ask you if it's possible to do like maybe a minute or 2 minutes of the prayer of the
As,
sacred offering, if we can
it's
start.
yes. Your connection or my connection, I think, is it's a little unstable. So I will check because I listened with interruptions. Excuse me,
Okay.
please. I'll just
Yes,
make a
check.
quick
It's
check. I will
perfect.
just
It's
make a quick
perfect.
check. I will
And
make
I'm
a
going to
quick.
invite the people that is watching us right now to tell us where are you connecting from and if you are hearing us clearly. I would appreciate if you can just write down some to us. Also, if you can share, if you are willing to share this to other people that might be interested on this subject, on this topic, please feel free to do that. That it's going to be a lot of help for us. Okay, so we are going to give some time for Freddy just to check. So are you interested in the rituals, the people that is watching us? Have you heard before about ancestral healing? What
Okay,
questions do you have?
okay. So can we restart with a question that you gave me, please?
Yes, yes, of course. It was an invitation, Freddie, for you to in 1 minute or 2 minutes to start this and do this prayer for to do this sacred offering of what we are gonna start sharing today, as you do in every class, like the
Oh
ones we
yeah,
started.
definitely. Yeah,
So if it's okay for you
wonderful.
to do a small one, a small version to invite like the ancestors to this.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I will tell you, you know, in the Andean tradition, you know, before you start something, before you do something, you know, you have to offer for gaining the right to receive. Okay, so this is what we usually do in our Spanish classes, because we cannot start anything if you don't offer, though. This is more or less the way how the Inca tradition teaches, you know, putting a lot of intent, you know, and breathing 3 times, and, you know, just letting the words come from within your heart, because, you know, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time, you know, for you and your connection with Mother Nature. You blow from your heart. Apudorkuna, ukuna, munayataka, iwakapanaikunata, kawarishiwanku, Jamperinki, Naparinki, Jamerinki, Apukuna, Ukikuna, Pachamama, Tatainti, Apuyaya, Lipichaicha, Hampuichis, Munayataya, Pamnicha, Naparichis, Aminchaichis, Lipichan, Kaiwakapanaikunata. Desde el fondo de mi corazón invoco a los maestros andinos de más alto nivel, a los apus, a la Pachamama, Madre Tierra, Madre Cósmica, Padre Sol, Madre Luna, hermanas estrellas, al Padre Cósmico, que nos irriguen con toda su fuerza, para que nosotros desde aquí podamos también reflejar esta tu energía a todos los que nos ven a través de este medio. A los maestros y maestras de todo el mundo, vengan, ayúdennos, levántenos. Más o menos. Sería la traducción más o menos de lo que se habla en el quechua. Pero el quechua es
we are speaking in English.
I'm sorry. This would be so sorry. This
I
would be
didn't
a
want
bad
to interrupt you,
translation.
so maybe you want to translate it in English.
Exactly. I was focused in Spanish. Though this is more or less how you do your blessings before you start, because this is the invocation to the masters, the Andean spiritual masters in the Andes, who's are represented by the mountains, the high mountains, though they keep the spirit, or they hold the spirit of the Andean masters of the Inca time, who were elevated to a mountain because they did not need to rebirth. They are living there forever as masters, as teachers. Apu, you know, to Pachamama, Mother Earth, to the stars, to the moon, to the cosmic father and cosmic mother, to the teachers of whole traditions in our planet, since the Andean spiritual tradition and mysticism doesn't have any contradiction with any belief system, any philosophy, religion. You know, it's a wisdom that blends and melds together. It's very universal and it's wonderful. So this is how we do the prayers. Yeah.
That's awesome. And yeah, we can feel that. I don't know if people like were able to feel like when you do the prayer, the environment around it starts shifting. It totally starts shifting. So let's start and share with us, like, through this 8-week course, like, what are the initiations and rituals, and what is the process itself? Like, maybe you want to go a little bit general first, so we can understand how it works, the Inca ancestral or
In
mysticism.
reality, you know, the Inca tradition, it's all about working with living energy. Every single thing is a living energy. Okay, I would say thing, but for the Inca people, it is a being. You know, if I have like 3 computers in front of me, then I would say computadora cuna, or the computer beings, because, you know, the Inca tradition understands that you harmonize with the energy of whatever surrounds you. It is why the Inca spiritual and mystical tradition personalized, gave name, body, and spirit to each thing that, or everything that is around you. I'm talking for you to understand. For me, like, if I don't harmonize with everything it is in my house, okay, then I mean, I'm not really, making myself happy and my environment. This is exactly what the Inca people did. It's all living energy, kausai pacha. It's just like the abundant energy that we are given, all right, for us to enjoy, for us to heal, for us to emerge in different levels of consciousness. It is why, yeah, the Inca spiritual tradition and mysticism is all about, discovering within yourself your Inca seed. The Inca seed, it is, this particular thing, okay, that it's a trigger for us, to start connecting with everything surrounds us, right? This is called like this, okay? Or is also our spiritual seed. This is recognized, since, you are taught or you start getting your connection with your spiritual mother and your spiritual father. I would say when you recognize to Pachamama as your cosmic mother, okay, because you inheritate from her all your energetic patterns, same as your spiritual father, your cosmic father, the stars, the moon, the sun, constellations, the galaxy. Okay, it's okay if you don't call God or supreme, or or absolute. That's okay. But it's this beautiful energy. Since you start, connecting with these two, then is when your spiritual seed will start germinating, because this is the time when you are studying a karpai, which for us, it's, the literal translation for karpai, it is to irrigate. You are irrigating. So when you irrigate is when you break the shield and then start growing. When you start growing, okay, then is when you are able, to start like healing yourself, okay? You are capable enough to face all particular situations or particular, say, issues that you might have in your own life. You as, me as Freddy, or you as Denise. So since you start healing yourself, through the different processes of the ceremonies of Sami, Chakuy, and Saiwa Chakuy, which are the movement of energy in the vertical way, then you are able and strong enough to move your energy in the horizontal way. Say, imagine, if you start using all this energy, okay, and then you focus yourself, okay, and then you start grounding and you start, putting a root on, on the soil. All right, when your roots are growing, it's enough to support yourself. That is a goal, Dennis. That's a goal, because only with two spiritual exercises, which is movement of energy, horizontal and vertical way, you can achieve as many beneficial things for yourself. Because if you're a person that has a lot of issues and traumas and difficulties, and you get to heal, with it, then you can be support of yourself, and this would be good enough for the society, because you are not an extra church for another person. Yes, because you can support yourself. This is exactly, when you become a Paco. This is exactly when you start your spiritual pathway and mystical pathway. And definitely, when you start with it, okay, when you continue with it, then you will gain, you will practice more exercises like energetic digestion and transformation. You will be able to use the ritualistic items and tools, and then will give you access to another levels of consciousness. Like, for example, if you are only a Paco and then you become an Ailu Paco, this is equivalent to a person who supports himself and can support his family. Can you imagine this? And also a series of families around, like 5 or 6 in your community, though you become as a high-level priest. Aylupaco, this is this level in which you are recognized by your community because you did a lot of things. You are a great teacher. You are a great sample, in your community. See, imagine when you are a nice Aylupaco, then you are always a potential candidate to be a high level. All right, then the next level of consciousness, like let's say, or in your spiritual path would be the Yakta Paco. Yakta explains, like 5 or 6 communities all together, like a village. It's a bigger range. It's a bigger range of society. Your energy, like you would say, your pokpo, which is called also your bubble. Your bubble, your aura, more or less. All right, yeah, it starts expanding and affecting to more people. And this is the idea of the Inca spiritual tradition, is because, a person needs to be a great impact to the society, you know?
That
Yeah,
that's
wow.
that's interesting. If we can go back to the seed to explain a little bit more, or maybe to do, I don't know if it's possible to compare. Could it be the essence when we are aware that we have an essence or an spirit within us or an spark within us? How would you compare it, like maybe with other philosophies, the seed that we have, that we hold within ourselves?
Well, I would compare, with two things, okay? If we speak, by instance, with another religion, then that would be when you awake, your gene of God, because all of us, we have a gene who's related to God, okay? So when regularly people awakes their gene of God, or we awake as a human beings, our gene of God is when we go through a difficulty, when we suffer so much, and then when, and say, finally you say, okay, you God, if you exist, come and help me. In the Inca tradition, God is a giving God, okay? He is, say, can give to you whatever you want, whatever you want, okay? He's not a punishing God. There is no such hell or heaven, all right? It is just giving you a pathway until which point you can arrive in your spiritual pathway. And also, human being, okay, runa kuna, human being, has been created with with a free will. Yeah, so you can, whatever you ask for, it's given to you under your own responsibility. So all those things, we learn in the Andean spiritual school, right? So this
Okay.
is exactly when you connect, with God, when you connect depending of your tradition. See,
Okay.
for us, by instance, is with Pachamama and Pachatata, or Cosmic Father, might be with the Father and Jesus, Virgin Marie, might be with Buddha, it's different traditions always will have, to the
So
master.
this is when we have that realization that there is something greater than us, that we have access, and it's not just that we are like in our egocentric way, but we realize that there is something bigger, and we
Exactly.
start connecting with that. So
Exactly.
that's when we realize that there is a seed, like we start realizing that we are start awakening that
Exactly.
gene of God, as you mentioned.
Exactly. No,
And
makes you
then,
stronger, and yeah.
yes, yes. No, that's,
Yeah.
I think like that's clear also for people that is watching us, and maybe they are curious to understand it like with what they know today. So then you mentioned about we have the Paco, we have the Ayu, and we have the Jata. We have those three levels, right?
No,
And
it's even
after we,
more than that.
well, there is more than that, but the ones that you
Exactly.
talk, those three levels.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, you mentioned that we have this verticality, that it's the first thing that we do, like really realizing that we have the cosmic father and we have Mother Earth, the cosmic mother, and then we are start this irrigation, and we are start irrigating this seed because we are breathing in like the breath, just to say it in one way, from the cosmic father, and then the breath from the cosmic mother, and they are kind of nurturing or watering that seed that we realize it's within ourselves. And then as we start like evolving and advancing in our path, recognizing that we have this free will, then we grow in those levels of priesthood that you mentioned. So I would like for you to talk a little bit about the Karpai, the initiation, like what is gonna be the end result of this course, this 8-week course? Because I think the last week we are gonna talk about the Karpai, and so people has asked like how, because there is a tendency, I would say there is a trend to see things, okay, this is our initiation, and they are asking like, okay, what is the initiation, what that means. Once they go through the course, they are connecting to the seed, they are irrigating it, and they will be like the Paco after they finish. How would you call this? Like, can you explain a little bit more about this?
Yeah, well, since you start doing the spiritual exercises that we teach you on these classes, then you become a Paco immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, exactly. And then we are going to go through, Karpai, by instance, in one time. It is when we are going to learn the ceremonies of spiritual irrigation.
Mm.
Okay, so in this case, in this case, we will be capable enough when we finish this course, for you, you are become a Paco, and then you can start using your Misha, which we are going to learn how to build it to give, physical initiations, to all those who are willing to learn the tradition. You know, in reality, if you become a Paco, okay, then you are in the spiritual Inca pathway and mysticism, okay? Your job is to keep the Aini. The Aini is the sacred reciprocity. So
Mm-hmm.
what you learn, you have to teach. And in this way of teaching, you are giving a karpai, you are irrigating the seed of the other person. So I would like to irrigate the seed of all those who are willing to come in this course.
Mm-hmm.
See, so the wisdom, starts expanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, karpai, it is karpa, as I told you, it is the spiritual irrigation. Now, when you say you arrive to Ayupaco, okay, you are a great person. Say, with these spiritual exercises, you healed yourself, because this is the first thing. You got to heal yourself. You cannot help to anyone in the Andean spiritual tradition if you are not healed. You cannot. This is impossible. If you cannot support yourself, you cannot go and help others. It is you first. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so when you start this, when you achieve to Paco, your work is not only to reach to the next step, okay? Because there is two powers, I would tell you. One is the ones below push you to reach up, and from up they push you to reach up. because it's very interesting for me. If we are in a class of 5 persons and we are all of us in the 3rd level, all right, 3 of us we are trying to reach, but by some reason I reached first to the 4th level. They might work. My work, it is to hold and drag them up to the 4th level. Okay. And also my work is to push to someone. So it is this aini. You always become a person who are helped and you have to help. Okay. There is no race here. Okay, so it is why when you are from say from a 4th level priest, you don't come to me and you say, I am the most powerful 4th level priest. Then you are not, because it's the population and people, your power, your healing powers, your wisdom is what gives you the level.
That's interesting.
So yeah, it is. It is a very nice tradition.
Yeah. The other piece that also came to while you were talking and I was listening to you, Freddie, what came to me also is that every gathering that we'll have every week, in fact, every gathering is an initiation itself in the
Exactly.
knowledge. Like, so we'll have throughout these 8 weeks, 8 initiations, that at the end, it's the sum up of the Paco, of this initial level, but it's different initiations that we are going through. So the first one, as we already talked last week, is the sacred offering, the one that you did for us today, right? That the 1 minute that was beautiful. And then we'll have the irrigation, the vertical irrigation. And then we'll continue having other ones where we are gonna learn how to work with the Misha and all the elements,
Exactly.
and also the
Yeah.
elements, all the elements that are used, and so on. We'll continue like every week, connecting and being initiated in
Exactly.
different
Exactly.
practices, right? So that's how I'm looking. I am understanding this 8 week course.
Yes, like Haiwarikui, we did not spoke about Haiwarikui, which is the physical prayer that the Inca spiritual tradition and mysticism learned, how to reciprocate to Mother Nature and to the cosmic father and mother, to our biological or father and mother. I mean, this is a very nice offerings that nowadays we used to do in the organic way, full of flowers and seeds, imprinting all your wishes, your dreams on this. It
Yeah.
is it is amazing, and then to learn how to use the Andean spiritual tools like the mishas, beautiful mishas, and then, the bells, and to use, there are many others, and we will learn how to do this, and then the Huchamihui, or the, Huchamihui, Huchapampachakui. And there are many ways in different communities. Okay, Huchapampachakui, which is the transformation or digestion of heavy energies.
Mm.
Okay, so the heavy and light energy, this is the purely Andean tradition. There is no negative or positive energy. It is only energy, which is the perception of each is very personal to each one. Like I would recognize my heavy energy within my spiritual bubble and my body, though through these very nice exercises I will learn how to just release it to Pachamama, Mother Earth, for its transformation, and yeah. And then this heavy energy, which is for me, might not be heavy for you, Denise, because
Yeah.
each person perceives energy in a different way. So this is Hucha Pampachakui, Hucha Mihui, transformation of energy. That is also part of our classes, because this is going to bring us, stability, emotional stability. We are going to be rid of fear, envy, jealousy,
Yes.
distress. This is helping us in many, many aspects,
So
and
So this is interesting what you are saying, because what just came to my mind was like, what if we kind of let go of the words negative and positive, and we use just lighter or light energy and heavy energy, and that's like, if I, instead of using negative, like I am imagining myself, I have the positive energy here, and I'm just putting here, instead of positive, light energy, and then here negative, I'm putting here heavy energy. So wow, if I really start shifting my perspective, is it really shift also like how I feel and I recognize things. Because as you just mentioned, frustration, stress, anger, shame, guilt, all those different emotions we consider like negative emotions, that trainings or low our vibration and blah blah, those things. But if I start seeing, well, maybe what makes me, or how I feel like guilt or frustrated or stressed out, it's different of what makes you feel, Freddie, on those emotions. So for me, it's my heavy energy, but it's just that it's a heavy energy that I am processing. It's not negative; it's just heavy for me, and I am learning to
Yeah,
process, because I suppose, based on everything that you share, that my heavy energy is gonna also evolve throughout the throughout the my evolution, my advancement as a being. And what is today a heavy energy, tomorrow is gonna be different. So we are constantly advancing and shifting how we see things. So what you just said, if people is watching us and just picking that piece, it already shift the perception, the perspective, and there is an inner shift within our system, just with that,
exactly.
just shifting that concept. And we haven't talked about digestion, but just the concept. So this is an invitation for everybody else, right? If you are talking about something that is negative, just start shifting it and use heavy energy, or as Freddie called it, the hucha, right? That's the hucha.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was beautiful. So I just wanted like to present it in a different way, to see. I think there is a gift and there is a medicine that you on what you just said.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's just, it is another cosmovision, because, yeah, different belief systems and traditions and religions in our planet, they have their own way to see the cosmos. The cosmovision in the Andes, it is this,
Mhm.
it is, you know, like full of energy, divided into light and heavy energy, and just work with it, work with it, digest, and just leave it, release it to Pachamama, Mother Earth, whatever you think is heavy, which is not bad. It is why never say that why I should feed Pachamama with my heavy energy, because it's not
Mhm.
bad. It's just you are giving for Pachamama for her to just deliver whatever needs to go or transform. That's it, you know?
Mhm.
And this is through sacred symbiosis. The
Yes.
sacred symbiosis, it is like how we live from the waste of plants, which is the oxygen, and how plants lives out of our waste, which is carbon dioxide. The plants never complain saying that this is the waste of these humans, which I'm eating. No, for them, it is a delicacy. So us,
Mm.
the waste of plants for us is life, oxygen.
Yes.
if we
Yes.
just if we just reset ourselves with it, exactly, this is what the Andean tradition speaks,
Mhm.
exactly, the sacred symbiosis. Imagine, if I was at third level, I would like to have the hucha of the fourth level, because the hucha of the fourth level is Sami, light energy for me.
Mm.
How it comes,
Yes.
more or less.
Yes. Yes. It
So
makes total sense on what you just said. Is that if you are involved, like, yeah, what you are gonna get out is gonna be Sami, and Sami is the light energy, light
exactly,
light energy.
healing. Exactly.
Okay. So what else? What is the next? I think like we talk about the 4 first weeks, right? And what is the
Yeah.
5th week that we are going to talk
Karpai.
about?
Is karpai. This is when we will learn how to recognize to a person who is in a different level of consciousness. Like, I was comparing with Ayupaco, Llactapaco,
Yes.
Suyupaco. Suyupaco represents more or less a nation.
Yeah.
Texepaco is the person who resonates with the world, with our planet. So how, what is the work of them? So we are going to just get to know, if we have any sample of these people operating in our present times, in these moments, if we have someone that we can recognize like that. And definitely then there will be this hunger, for you to evolve, because it's very nice to emerge in levels of consciousness, right? So this is karpai. Every time, uh, you start a new level of consciousness. Your karpa, you are irrigating and irrigating and irrigating. It is very nice to know about it. Even though, for some of us would say like, wow, I don't think I will achieve to that level, because, I won't in one time, perhaps if you are skeptical to this, you might say like, okay, the the sixth level is Inca, okay? Inca. All right, so that is equivalent to, say, Jesus Christ, one touch, one time, resurrection. All right, but, you know, people would say like, wow, this would be very nice, but I mean, you will have this energy. Say like, in one time, I would like to be a great healer. At least if it's not for only for my family, I would like to be a great healer for my community. Just arrive to Llacta, Paco,
Mhm.
it would be good enough for us. We would bring enough balance, equilibrium. We would get rid of, racism. We could just stop all this conflict that we have, economy versus uh, ecology. We would finish with many other conflicts that we have in our planet, though the Andean spiritual tradition and the Andean mysticism aim is that,
Mm.
to just impart and create harmony in our planet. So all those who are willing to cooperate with it, come and join us. Right, we are going to learn a lot, and then, yeah, we might be a great change for our future generations if they get to know all this.
Mm. So that's very interesting, and we already are like at the top of the time almost, and we will have a third live next week. So
Exactly.
I want to invite you again, you that is watching us, to join us for this 8-week training that where Freddy is gonna share a lot of knowledge, ancient wisdom that I believe and I feel it can really shift your life. It could give you a lot of input, it could give you a lot of information that is going to help you today. And and I think like you can review the information and the details, and I'm going to give you the website. You can go to amalai.teachable.com, and I will write it down in Facebook and YouTube, so you can access, you can review all the details of what we are going to go through on each week, and then you can also enroll. If you have questions, you can always contact me directly. Freddy, thank you so
Wonderful.
much for this. Let me check if there is any questions. Um, hey Gladys, thank you for joining us. So I'm just checking very quickly if there is questions here on Facebook. Let's see. Okay, no, there is no questions. So if there is any questions, just send me a message.
Wonderful. So, yeah, well, we didn't really finish speaking about the rituals, but I will tell you, if next life we will do is pichai, which is cleansing, like energetic and spiritual cleansing. Kalpachakui, also how to energize yourself. It's just how you can move energy, and then you can just energize yourself, and then get to know what is Kausai Pacha. Learn all about the abundant energy that
Mm.
we are surrounded by. So it'll be wonderful to be in this course. I invite you, truly. We will enjoy. I will perform some ceremonies from the sacred sites in Cusco, which is the birthing place of the tradition. I mean, the capital of the whole kingdom that used this spiritual tradition, right? And then, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
It will be an amazing journey for sure. So I'm
Exactly.
looking forward for you to join us. And Freddy, thank you so much for your time. And we'll talk again next week.
Definitely, yeah. I'll be here. I will be always very, very happy to share some moments with you. Yeah, it's part of our I need to. Definitely.
Definitely. So I want to stop the live. Thank you so much for everybody that has joined us on live and on the replay.